peacock and how to properly use different parts of a peacock feather.
Yeah.
I learned this from Andre Pouillon's. It's really important for anyone that wants to tie with peacock and make large bodies on flies. It pays to know what sections of the feather to use. I'm a left-handed tyer.
Hello.
Which is a cool thing, right, Brian? I'm a left-handed tyer, okay? Now, there's a dull side to the peacock,
Okay.
and there's what I call the pretty side, or colorful side of the peacock. All right, if you have the pretty side of the peacock facing you, and you are a left-handed tyer, you're going to use the right-hand feathers. If you're a right-hand tyer, you're going to use the left-hand feathers. And the reason for that is, I'm a left-handed tyer, and the barbules that are on the top of the stem of this barb coming off, the barbules coming up, are larger on this side than they are on this side. So when I tie this in with that stem facing forward, I want those larger barbules to be up as I'm wrapping it forward. Okay? So, again, if I'm left-handed, I'm going to use the right side as the pretty side's facing toward me. And if I'm right-handed, I'm going to use the left side. Now, keep recording for a second. I want to show you guys what you can do if you properly stack these to create really incredible bodies. Okay? I'm going to take, you can see how thick these are in here. Can you see the fibers in here, how thick they are, and how thin they are down here? If I take out a fiber, I'm left-handed, sorry, I got to take the other side. I take out the proper fiber, okay, and I tie it in so the stem is facing forward. I got to put some light on here, Bruce, so I can see a little bit. Okay, I'm going to tie it in so the stem is facing forward. You wonder how you get those nice little tapered butts on royal wolves. I'm going to make sure that that stem is facing forward, and I'm going to start just tying this forward. Move my thread out of the way. And each wrap, I'm going to be right on top of that last piece of stem. And what's going to happen is it's going to get thicker and thicker and thicker and thicker until you hit the center of the feather, and then it'll start getting thinner, right? Now, I'm going to just let this one go for a second. Let me know if we're going to run out of time here, Bruce.
I have no idea how much memory I have on here.
Okay, I'm going to break that off then. I'm going to go further back this time. Let's say I want to tie a body on a prince nymph. I'm going to grab 3 of these larger barbules off the stem here. I'm going to match them up so the curves are in the proper direction on each one. And if I stroke them like this together, and the curves align, and I'm going to find out which side has the stem on it. It helps if I have the right glasses, sorry. Okay, so this is the stem side. Wait a minute. This is the stem side, okay. I'm going to tie all 3 of these in at once. The key is when you tie it in, quick wrap, do not let go of the fibers. They've got to all line up. Just going to wrap this down. This makes the coolest bodies. Thank you, Andre Pouillon's. I'm just going to make that first wrap, and I'm going to start wrapping this forward. Okay, now I'm going to tell you, after doing this, one of those is actually facing the wrong direction. But look how thick that body is. And notice 2 things. It's tapered in the back, and it's tapered in the front. That's because on a peacock fiber, one single fiber off a peacock feather, the center is the thickest, and the 2 ends taper down. So if you start at the end, you'll get a taper. If you start an 1.5 inches or so up, or 1 inch up from the base of that fiber, you're going to be right in the heart of the heaviest part. And so if you want to do the upper section of a royal wolf, not the tail section, but the upper section of a royal wolf, you cut that inch taper off and start there, you get a nice, really thick, big body like this. Here we've got the taper in the back, starts small and gets larger, and there's no taper in the front section on this. It's all thick because I started more towards the center of the feather, or the fiber. Okay, does that make sense? Okay, this is really critical. It's not covered a lot of places, and a lot of people don't understand it, but that is one of the reasons I like to get a good feather like this from the zoo, because if I'm doing small nymphs, I'm going to use the tiny stuff down here that is really short in fiber, and if I'm going to do larger prince nymphs or steelhead flies, look at how wide these barbules are up here. This is what I call the prime section that I use for doing steelhead flies and streamers, right in here. I use smaller nymphs or medium-sized nymphs, and then I get to the tiny nymphs, I use all the stuff on the bottom down here. Okay? I love to go to the zoo with family, even if it's once a year, and I'll buy 30 or 40 of these at $1 a piece, and it's nice because you can have 200 in a barrel, and you can pick out all the prime ones that have the biggest fibers on top. I've seen some of these fibers as long as this. So you can pick what you want in that kind of situation. Okay?
What zoo do you go to?
San Francisco Zoo.
Yeah, okay.
Oh, yeah. When my family goes, they're all required to take little baggies, and if they find feathers, they pick them up. just the way it is in the McCants family. Okay, thank you, Bruce.
And you go into the, are we done?
Yeah.